The pre-show notes here. So we have Nikki here. Nikki, so your company that you work for does neural manifestation workshops.
Mm-hmm.
So what can you kind of described it a little bit, but what does that mean? Like what when you say manifestation?
Yeah, so basically manifestation is just being more consciously aware of what you're attracting into your life. We're all manifesting, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. Like everything that we attract within our life, we are manifesting, but our practice helps you bring awareness, conscious awareness to that, so you can be just more intentional with what you're calling in and can more like kind of create the life that you're wanting. And then we have workshops that help you reprogram your subconscious mind. So they're like guided meditations that will take you back to specific memories where you can give yourself a healing. And then we have different journal prompts to work through where you can really notice like different patterns throughout your life, different cycles, and then you can kind of take specific actions to move forward.
So, do you mind if I ask you a few questions about this?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to be blunt and honest,
Yeah.
right? I'm not good at mincing words. I think all of that's total bullshit. But to be fair, to dive in on it, when you say manifesting, are you talking about the laws of attraction?
No.
So then what does manifesting mean?
Well, so do you know what the law of attraction is? Okay. Yeah. So
I thought you said it doesn't pertain to that.
Well, so the law of attraction is all about thinking positive and like more so like getting into the vibration of what you want.
Law of attraction is just like attracts like. So
Like
if you have negative thoughts, you're going to attract negative things. If you have positive thoughts, you're going to attract positive things.
Yeah, exactly. So like their whole thing is if you think positively, you'll attract positively. Or if you're like attracts like, so your vibration is going to attract the vibration. We don't teach that. We haven't really seen that works or is effective. My boss
based on rigorous scientific study,
just with working with people. So the founder of the company, Lacey Phillips, she's really into energetics, and she notices a lot of themes, and she's worked with hundreds of
Can you
clients.
explain to people what energetics are?
So, well, her kind of version of it is just literally paying attention to how people react in different situations and how they do call in certain things. So like energetics would just be the energy of how everything is like coexisting together.
What is this energy made up of, does Lacey think?
I don't know. She's never actually specifically said.
Never said what the energy is made up of, but it's there.
It's there.
And it's definitely interacting with stuff.
It's definitely interacting with stuff.
But we don't know what the hell it is, right? It's...
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the one who, developed these methods, so I can't speak more further into it. But we have had neuroscientists work with us. They've helped us develop the workshops, and based on their studies and research too, have found this to
What kind
be
of
effective.
neuroscientists?
Have you ever heard of Dr. Tara Swart?
No.
She's a psychologist and neuroscientist. We've also worked with...
Well, you know that there's a lot of psychologists who call themselves neuroscientists, but don't have any type of degree in neurology whatsoever. They just say, I'm a psychologist and I'm a neuroscientist, because it's so vague that you can call yourself a neuroscientist, even though you have no degrees whatsoever in neurology, which is that's what comes to mind, right? Is that I'm a doctor of neurology. That's what people would think when you say neuroscientist, right? Isn't that what you would think?
Yes, absolutely.
But that's not the case. A lot of them say I'm a neuroscientist, and they have no degrees whatsoever, no MDs, or whatever the requirements are for neurology. So just saying neuroscientist, I'm always very skeptical. I've noticed that they usually have bachelors of not science, but bachelors of art, a bachelor of art degree in psychology.
She definitely is more credentialed than that. I can't remember because it's been like 4 or 5 years since we've worked with her, but she helped us sort of develop and like review our first sort of set of workshops. But I get why you're skeptical. I really do. And I understand.
Well,
and like there's a lot of...
That's old occultism, right? So this is not new. The church that I belong to has been studying alternative occults, everyone from saints to, I mean, this is
What church do you belong to?
I'm an Eastern Orthodox Christian. So anyway, they've been looking at it forever, and this is because in the East there was a lot of occult practices there too, right? But this is old.
It is, yes.
old occultism. But I just had a couple more questions if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we're not sure what these energies are made of, right? There's just some energies, but let me ask you something. If you were to manifest a thing, can you tell me how that doesn't interfere with free will?
So what do you mean exactly?
Well, if you're going to manifest a thing, let's say I wanted a bicycle, right? And I really wanted a bicycle and I manifested it.
Yeah.
Somebody has to build the bike. Somebody has to put it together. Someone has to deliver it, right? Someone has to do all of those things. So if I normally would not have gotten said bike.
Well, what if you were like manifesting a specific bike and you like had all of these details laid out and you wanted like this old school bike, and then you were just like walking down the street one day and you saw one by a dumpster, not locked up, whatever, and it's just exactly what you had been calling in.
That still would have to necessarily influence free will. It still had to have gotten by the dumpster, still had to be built. All those things still had to happen for that to come.
What if it's not? I feel like it's not. Okay.
Hang on.
Okay.
For that to come to me by me manifesting it, that means I have set in the energy, a series of events which necessarily would have to affect people's free will in order for that to manifest in front of me. There's literally no way around that. It would be impossible for other humans to not be influenced by the mysterious energies of my will.
I don't know. I don't personally agree with that because I feel like you're just sort of aligning with what already exists. So I don't think that it's necessarily going against someone's free will. But
okay. So explain this to me then. Let's think about that bike example you gave. We've got a bicycle and it has all sorts of little intricate details, right? Somebody had to create all of that, didn't they?
Yeah, but it's already created.
Wait, it was created before you manifested it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you can only manifest things which already are?
Well, I think it's a lot easier to manifest things that already are.
Yeah,
and like
but it's
already
not
in
an entailment that
existence.
you can only manifest things which already are, right?
I mean, that's more so what we teach. We just want to align people with what's already existing. Like, none of our teachings are like creating.
But how does that
something.
thing, which already is, come to you without you influencing the will of other people?
I don't know how to answer that.
Because it's
But-
impossible.
Yeah.
That would literally be impossible for me to manifest a thing, which was a created thing of a human being who was not me, to me, without influencing their will. That would be impossible.
I don't know. I think we are thinking about this differently.
I think most definitely we're thinking about it differently.
but I don't know how to. I don't know how to like rebut that.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a couple questions on this.
Sure.
So you guys sell the courses online, right? Or there's workshops and stuff. I see here
Yeah.
on the website. So it's $30 a month, $360 for the year, and then $3,000 for a lifetime, I guess, membership for the
That's just like you own everything.
for all the courses. There's how to manifest, how to be magnetic, unblocked inner child, unblocked shadow.
Yeah, I wanted to get into that too when you're done.
Yeah, the daily practice, unblocked.
And I don't want to talk too much about the company.
money,
And I also want to
examine,
say,
reprogram,
like,
relationship with the money.
yes, I work for the company, but like I'm not the founder and I don't have like the same views as the founder. So I also don't want to like make this
Okay.
too much about the company. But
No, I understand.
Sure, but
Yeah.
I'm only looking for things from your worldview.
okay.
Yeah, if it doesn't align with the company, but there's unblocked money, unblocked love, unblocked boundaries, rock bottom, next level, rut, extra layers, get clarity. So there's a lot of different courses and workshops. You mentioned this bike scenario. So you could manifest a bike.
Well, I just kind of Andrew was the one who said bike, but it made me think like one of my exes, he was manifesting rollerblades. And one day we were just walking.
As one does.
Yeah, we had just moved and we lived next to a park and he was like, oh, I really want rollerblades. And we went on a walk and sure enough, like just on the side of the street, kind of out by like where people would leave their trash, there was a brand new pair of rollerblades just sitting there and they fit him
Yeah,
perfectly.
So Well, I mean, look, I'll acknowledge that coincidences like this can be peculiar and interesting. You know, you'll think of somebody, for example, and then the next day you get a text from them, or you see them, or you know, you think about a certain thing, and it happens. But this is a bit of, I think, survivorship bias, because what about all the times you do wish for something, or you do think of something, and it never materializes? And then I am also curious about, but you do think that as far as this manifestation thing, it's not just sort of about, you know, your, there Andrew was kind of getting into it, you know, if you're a positive person, you'll attract positive circumstances into your life. I do think that there is some, I do think there is something to that, but you think it also pertains to actual physical manifestations in the world, like the bike, for example. That I really want this really cool bike to appear, and then a day later you're walking, and then there it is for free.
There's definitely no, like, I'm not saying that would happen for everybody, but basically,
who would it happen for?
I mean, like, with the rollerblades, like, that was just an example. Like, I literally think my ex had said it, and then on that same day we went for a walk and he found them. Like, he was really good at, like, saying things. And, like, it could be argued too, like, is it your intuition that's almost like dropping in, and you're like, oh, I want this, or I know this, and you're like kind of like a step ahead of yourself in, like, reality. I feel like that sometimes happens a little bit.
The super ego.
Yeah.
So, and how long have you been doing the manifestation stuff?
So I've been working with the company for about 5.5 years, and I found the founder of the company like a year before. So like 6.5 years specifically with her.
When it comes to manifestation, is there any upper limit as to what you can manifest into your life?
Yeah. So we like very much like, when people start the course, or like, you know, don't think about the $1 million homes or the Ferraris or like anything like super crazy. Like, we definitely want people to get to know themselves first and sort of strip back those layers. Like, inner child and shadow are sort of our like number one courses we recommend after they learn how to manifest our like sort of process. And that's because there are a lot of layers that we pick up in childhood from 0 to 7 or like 0 to 14. That's when we really imprint our entire subconscious, and where we really pick up all of those limiting aspects. So basically the courses help you go back and look at that and then reprogram that, and that's when you start to get like a lot more magnetic, where things are just naturally flowing to you. Like, a lot of times you don't even necessarily have to be so specific, but
how does one, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, I just want to be somewhat specific. How do you tell someone to go back to hyperfixate on a memory? What's the process for something like that?
So she is trained in hypnosis. And so, it's like you get into a hypnotic state within these audios, and she sort of guides and leads you back.
Have you ever heard of a case? It was called the McMartin-McBuckey case. It was a huge preschool case. It was one of the largest investigations ever done for the trafficking of underage children, right? And they had a hypnotherapist who came in, and the hypnotherapist was able to take these children back into these states of their trauma and this and that. Turned out it was all bullshit. They had implanted the memories via hypnosis, and a ton of people got swept up in this case. They ended up being completely and totally vindicated, right? But interestingly enough, like hypnosis, for one thing, there's nothing about it which is scientifically rigorous at all. I think that perhaps there could be something to the fact that through discourse with somebody else, you can, you know, perhaps focus on some memories that you have or things like this. But let's say somebody was hypnotically suggestible, right? You could suggest things to them. And there's a small portion of the planet which has been scientifically demonstrated to be highly suggestible. What's stopping a person when they go in there from planting something there that doesn't belong there? Now we have a fake memory, or we have a problem now. Like, what's actually stopping a person from doing that?
Well, I think that's more like if you're in person with someone and they're guiding you, you should probably be very careful. But with the guided like audio meditations, listening at home, like, you're in full control. And like you just sort of follow what your subconscious and where your subconscious is taking you and trust that. So it's not like anybody is, you know, planting any other information. And like with her guided meditations too, she's not like leading you so specifically into something. Like it is a lot more loose, and it's like truly your body that is guiding you through this experience. So, but I know what you mean. I mean, I think hypnosis is incredibly powerful and can be really scary in some instances with like hypnotherapists who meet with you in person. To the few people who are
suggestible to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I guess going back, because in your notes you say using manifestation to call in aligned partners and dating opportunities.
Yes.
I'm confused again by this manifestation thing, because it seems like it goes beyond just, bringing positive outcomes to your life, but actually, in the blanking on the word here, but in the, I can't think of the word, but so you could manifest, for example, a bike.
Sure. Yeah, you can
Okay, let's
manifest
go.
like
Could
smaller
you-
things.
Oh, only small things.
No, I'm just saying you could manifest
Isn't it
things
just
like
about
that, like
changing
physical
your
items.
mindset, like when it comes to that stuff, rather than like it's just gonna appear in front of me? Like I feel like manifestation, like if you think positively, then you'll work for it. Like in my head, I'm like, I want a bike, so I'm gonna like wake up and then make some money and then go buy the bike, rather than like it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
a bike is in front of me.
It's like action steps, kind of. Is what
Yeah,
you're
like
more
that.
example.
Rather, because isn't that just the same of the? Isn't that just the same as like a self-help book, where it's kind of like, you know, it's anyone can read it, but it's really like you're already putting the work in to change your mindset, like buying the course someone wants to better themselves.
I mean, it's definitely all like I think related and similar, because you reading that self-help book or you taking positive actions towards your goals, those are all positive things that you're reinforcing in your mind, that I want this and like that you deserve it. But where people get caught up is a lot of times they consciously want something or consciously feel worthy or deserving of something, but their past reality doesn't reflect that, and it's like their subconscious mind that doesn't feel worthy of that. So like we really believe that your entire
So you have to feel
Hold
worthy.
on. Okay, can I just ask you a question? I'll just ask this point blank. Does manifestation work?
I think it does, because I have manifested things and that like were very specific.
I mean, if it works, why aren't you a billionaire?
Well, I mean, I have like so.
Because she doesn't want to be. Duh.
Her conscious said no.
No, but
Yeah,
I mean,
my subconscious
it
said
occurs
no,
to me if you can
but-
manifest,
that.
if you can manifest yourself something
No.
on a small scale,
Why can't
would
you go
not be
that
able to
big?
manifest something on the large
I mean,
scale?
there is something here where too, I think like as souls, we all have a specific destiny that we're kind of following as well.
Doesn't
contradicts.
destiny and manifestation
Yeah, they would
totally
negate each other.
conflict?
So I don't think that it necessarily does, but I mean, this is where sometimes I sort of diverge from our teachings too, because I do have some other spiritual beliefs as well, but like I don't personally, like authentically, I really don't want to be a billionaire in this lifetime. It's
See?
not something that I'm
They always say
manifesting.
the same thing. If they
But-
manifest, they're not millionaires because they don't want to
They
be
don't.
millionaires.
Well, I would want to be a millionaire. I hope that I will be one day, but not a billionaire. That's
Why-
like too
Why
much.
not a billionaire?
But
Why not?
Like, why
that's-
be the prince when you can be the king? I don't get it.
I know. Well, you guys all make like excellent points, but I think at the end of the day, like we're just putting out self-help tools that are helping people create a better reality for themselves and find their authenticity and
Well,
just more
I'm
like
not really-
attract more things that are in alignment with
Yeah,
what
but
they're
manifestation is like, okay.
wanting. Well, you're manifesting.
just-
You manifested this podcast. Like you're
No, I
also
didn't
worked for it.
manifest. I didn't
like
manifest this podcast. I took action.
Well, yeah, but
to
action.
make this happen.
Action is a part of it.
So it's
like
just
you
what
have to
everybody
take
does.
action.
So it's
just
not-
your
I'm not
thought.
saying that you just wave a magic wand and all of these things appear.
No, but that is what you're saying.
No,
You
that's
said,
definitely not what I'm
I
saying.
really want a bike, and then you walk down the street.
Aligned
and then
action
there's a
is one of
bike.
our process steps. Like, so we have like kind of three main pillars of the work, and it's unblocking the subconscious limiting beliefs, expanding your subconscious to like show you that what you want is possible
it,
for yourself,
want it,
and then
do it.
aligned action is like lastly is like you need to take aligned action steps and take the action to get there.
I feel like instead of like sitting down and like in your bed and listening to audio and taking like quizzes, you can
Yeah.
just like get up and like work for something. You know what I mean?
Well,
Instead.
yes. Yeah,
Do you
absolutely.
personally use your own course?
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I read a book that was saying that there's motivation and then there's actually discipline, self-discipline, so that you can have motivation every day, but it's do you have the self-discipline to get up and do it every day?
Can you manifest healing?
So we don't teach that, like any like physical healing, but I personally have, like I've
Wait, why
wanted,
don't you teach that?
well, because my founder doesn't want to get into, teaching that, because she hasn't figured that out specifically for herself.
I mean, wouldn't everything be within the purview of manifestation?
Yes.
Energetics or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I personally have manifested things that have helped me on my healing journey and have helped me heal my body.
Journey.
Did you
Yes,
do
the
actions?
journey. I know you
journey.
love that word.
journey.
Did you do actions though besides manifesting?
Yeah, absolutely.
So without the manifestation, would you still just have done the actions and the same thing would have happened?
Well, the idea here is around. So this is what I think. I think that the conflate, it's a word concept fallacy. So when I talk to witches and warlocks and anybody who's invested in alternative theories of reality is what I would say. Every single time when I dive into the particulars, thank you. When I dive into the particulars, I find out that it's just the same shit that everybody does all day, right? And I go, oh, okay, that's the particulars. So the word concept fallacy comes in where, let me give you the example. Let us assume for a moment that you were a hunter, okay? And you would go every morning in November to go kill a deer like half of the state of Michigan does, okay? And when you did, you brought your lucky coin. And what made this coin lucky, and the reason you knew this coin was lucky, is when you were a kid and you were out with your dad and you were up in that tree stand and you saw the deer and you shot the deer. Well, you had that coin in your pocket. And so you were never going to forget that coin again, right? And you never did. Now, one day, of course, 10 years in, you forgot that coin. You took the shot. You missed the deer. Uh-oh. You didn't have that lucky coin, did you? Now you go home. You get that lucky coin. You go back out. Of course, well, like magic, you take out the deer. The question is...
Hail and well met. Lol Paladins donated $200.02. I manifested myself a hard, highly specialized and skilled job that I work 40 to 48 hours a week showing up for the past 20 years so that I could afford to support this podcast better than woman prattle.
Yeah, the question then becomes, is this really a magical talisman? Is a talisman itself...
I'm not claiming it to be magic.
Hang on.
Okay.
But let me explain.
Yes.
The question becomes, is this a magical talisman, right? Does it have some magical properties? Does it have some other worldly properties which literally enable you to become a mighty deer hunter? Or is it possible that you made a bunch of correlative mistakes in your brain and just decided that this thing has way more value than it does? You just like to have it with you because it makes you feel better. It's like a whoopee. Well, I would go with that option, right?
I would
and I'm sure
too.
that you would too.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about manifesting. It's the same exact.
It is.
It's the same exact
It's all
idea.
in your brain.
Yeah, it's the same exact idea. So
It's
the
really,
question is it just your whoopee?
I think that it is all in your brain, absolutely. And like we are saying, it is your subconscious mind. Like everything that we attract is within our
What's subconscious about
mind.
it?
Well, I mean, obviously there's things that come from our subconscious that then bring into our conscious awareness, but subconscious is a lot of things that we obviously don't have that awareness for. So like there are a lot of people who hustle and work their asses off and like work so much and like they're taking all of those actions, but yet they are still met with the same cycles and patterns or don't find the success that they're looking for. And I think there are ways you can rewire your brain a bit to like have better results.
Yeah, but this is just common business school practices, right? Like, oh, you're doing something over and over again, you're getting poor results. So let's take a look at the
Change it.
process
Yeah.
and change something in the
I mean,
process.
yeah.
How is that manifestation? So when you say manifestation, to me, that sounds like magic, right? We have energy somewhere which is being manipulated somehow in order to deliver something to you.
I guess we don't like
right?
use that word in that sense, but I know most people kind of do.
Can I
But-
say something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so with manifestation, also it's the same thing as like kind of like affirmations. You speak
Sure.
something into existence, and then also
Yes.
the human brain is very crazy how
It's
it works. I've had an
powerful.
aunt that passed a lie detector test by telling her brain and training her brain that she didn't do something when she did it. You can make yourself believe you didn't do something.
But hang on. Lie detector tests don't work.
Well,
They're
I don't know, but
they're completely inadmissible.
There's people
in
that are
court.
like army and stuff that
Polygraph
they can
tests
still-
do not work.
They're trained to pass it.
What happens is the post-test interviews, the interviewer is trained to trick you into saying, why is it that you failed this question, this question, this question, in order to get you nervous enough to make
mess
confessionals.
along, yes.
The polygraph test itself has never been a scientifically rigorous test, which is why they're totally inadmissible in court and they're nonsense. So when you say somebody trained themselves to beat a test, which everybody can beat, right?
Not everybody
It's-
They
really
just
makes
worked
it.
on lying, so their nerves weren't up. To
Well, if I'm saying
test.
like they ask you like, oh, what color is my shirt? Oh, it's green. Oh, what is this? Oh, like it's, what's today? It's this
yeah,
day.
but it's
You
all
do-
all of this is highly.
It's all nerves and stuff like that.
It's
But I'm
all
saying
highly
the-
interpretive, though.
Overall, I'm saying the human brain, like you're saying, manifestation. It's whatever the brain wants to convince itself of.
Real quick question though, what would you say is the difference? Because I know you're religious. What's the difference between like manifestation and prayer?
Yeah,
You know,
so
not in a
this
bad way, but
this
just
is
like
a
this,
this is
yeah.
a great question, right? So, the way that I pray is I always just pray in thanks. That's it.
And
Like,
gratitude.
what do you mean? Like what?
I don't ask God for stuff. I just pray in thanks.
Okay.
thanks for what you already have.
Yeah.
No,
just
no,
like
just
gratitude.
thanks for existing.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, that's the thing. I think I pray about that more than anything. Is I just thank God for existing.
What about others that might say they're like praying that their living situation gets better, or like to be better financially?
Well, they're not really doing that. They're
Yeah.
supposed to. They're throwing themselves on the mercy of God
Yeah.
instead. In fact, it's the exact opposite of trying to control the will. It's doing the exact opposite. It's instead putting your will over to God and God's mercy. So He would be the guider here. It would not be you trying to control the will of even yourself or others, but rather putting yourself completely in the hands of God.
So you're saying it's not putting it out to energy in that case; it's putting
No.
it like in God's hands.
God.
Yeah.
I don't think
It would
God's
be-
will over
this would be
Yeah.
this would be the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Which is why we would consider this to be an inversion, right? This would be so. I would think let's pretend for a second that you really could do this. That I really could like manifest something I wanted. What if I wanted you?
Maybe that's how my ex got me. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I'm not sure.
but
Like,
can
damn, he
you
got me.
manifest that?
We
wait, why? But why not?
We
Why
say
can't
you can't manifest specifics.
Why?
Well, also, yeah, the free will thing definitely.
Oh, the
comes
free
into
will.
play.
See what I mean?
But yeah.
But if I could, and this is the caveat, right? It's always the caveat. But if somebody could manifest that, wouldn't you say that was evil?
You
Wouldn't you
could.
say like I would be basically controlling you against your will, right?
manipulative, yeah, for sure.
But just all I'm asking you to do is take that thought to its logical conclusion. If I wanted that cup you had, if I wanted that pin in your pocket, if I wanted the dollar in your, it's all the same thing, isn't it? It's
put-
me manipulating you to get the thing that I want from you.
Who put those limits though on manifestation? Does
Yeah,
she know,
that's
or
the
does she
greatest
say- you know what I
question
mean?
of all,
Like,
right?
where's-
Why can't you manifest the person you want? Well,
I mean, it's all God. It's all free will. So
Yeah.
that's why God gave us free will. We're not puppets. We can't be. We're not robots. We're human. So that's why I feel like everybody's saying not to talk about the manifestation, but I feel like everything is under God. So
Well, the reason this is actually important when you're talking about dating, it's actually been stunning to me how many women are into occultism, witchcraft, tarot cards, some form of magic use, even recreationally. It's astounding. And so if you think about the population of men who are religious inside the United States, it's massive. There's a massive population. Same with women. And so I think to myself, well, this is obviously very pertinent. People are religious. They're literally taught to stay away from that stuff. So if they're coming across women who are into it, it's always interesting to me to kind of hear the various reasons why, right? So I think it is pertinent to dating.
I think it is.
witchcraft.
Ryan loves roast
Yeah.
beef labia donated $200. Question: assume the man or woman is going full throttle, like Jack Hammer. Man is missionary on down thrust, woman on top going for IT. How many thrusts after a stop until it becomes SA? 1, 2, 3?
This is actually an interesting question.
Yeah, that's a good thought experiment.
So the idea here is, and it could apply to both man or woman. So okay,
but
let's
I'm
say
letting you ask it.
Oh, you don't want to be part of it? Wait, you don't want to be part of it?
I'm letting you ask it, Brian.
What the hell?
I've gotten in enough trouble on Twitter.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It's sexual assault
That's what they're
in the
asking,
beginning. What are you talking?
Well,
So okay, here I'll let me frame it.
I was just gonna say.
Okay.
Can you reframe?
Let me frame it here. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and again, this could go to apply to the man or the woman. So let's say the man's on top and missionary position, and you say stop, right? But he's like, you were it was all consensual before, and but he's going for it, like is fast, right? And there's momentum. What the laws of physics, Newton's, what is it, the first, second, third, I don't know. An object in
Isaac
motion,
Newton.
object in motion will stay in motion. So if you're hooking up with a guy and you're like, stop, and the stop is like, we're done. But you were consenting before. And then like, obviously, let's say he's on the down thrust. And he's in the middle of the down thrust, and you say stop during the middle of the down thrust, and he finishes the down thrust. Is that SA?
no, sexual assault.
Sexual assault. Oh.
Is that, has he just and then
Does he get off immediately after the down
he
thrust?
does the down thrust, and then he removes his
then, yeah,
phallus.
I think that's fine, as long as he,
I think once like he has a clear understanding, because you're in that mode, you know what I mean? So it's like if you hit the down thrust, then you're like still locked into sex. So I think once you get the point, you like stop and make sure that the other person's okay, and either talk about it and continue or not. Like, what do you like? What do you not like?
Or have like a safe word, you know what I mean? That eliminates any questions as well.
Because some people will say stop because they like it.
Right.
You know what I
So
mean?
that's why it's like have like
Wait,
a
what?
word.
Hold on. Okay, look. Okay, guys, here. Let's not overcomplicate it. Let's just assume the man understands that it's a stop. There's no confusion here. There's no need for a safe word. The woman says stop. He's going like this, son, fast. And she says stop. At what point? Because there's momentum. You know, how many thrusts does he get until it's SA? You know?
You get to finish that thrust and then you're done, bro.
No, but I mean, what? So you're gonna say? But are you gonna say if he's got the momentum, he does two? Like he does two? Did he just SA you?
I think it's when it becomes intentional past when he knows you want him to stop. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
but you
if
say stop.
Yeah.
One thrust, two thrusts, and then he stops. Was
Yeah.
that SA?
Three's excessive.
Yeah.
I'll give it that. Three's excessive.
He meant that. He meant
One
that
or
too.
two.
Yeah.
Three's
Why, like,
excessive.
hitting
Woman
him.
would say stop if she already into that and there is joy and she's
Well,
getting
she's-
pleasure. Why would she say
women
stop?
do this. They're in the middle of consensual sex, but then for whatever
But
reason.
what is
they
the
wanna-
reason? Like if she experiences the pain, and she is
It could
asking.
be for any reason. It could be she no longer wishes to continue having sex.
Well,
Maybe there
if
is
she
pain.
does not wishes
Yeah.
for whatever, like she doesn't wishes pain or
Yeah.
something like that. That is like thin line there. But we are coming from the country where a man using the term no means yes, you know. So for us, it's like the essay and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is like man's needs need to be fulfilled.
Right, but that's not really pertaining to
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not
I
really
know.
pertaining to
Different
the
culture.
example. So okay. So, because I'm thinking like, okay, what if you're the guy and you tell her to stop and she's on top and she's fucking throwing it back, like just going fucking crazy, bro.
How often does a man yell?
Is there a man who would say-
I was just gonna
If
say,
it's
how often
like-
does a man go, no, stop?
If the like, if it's,
Never say no, stop.
no, but let's say just a thought experiment. It's a thought experiment. Like if she's doing, if it's like, if she does a cut like two
She
more
gets
little
the same
bounces,
amount of bounces and humps
If
as
she
the guy,
does
then
two more
that's it.
bounces, I'm not gonna feel like if I'm.
To pull.
But if it's like 7, then I'm like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
What's going
I
on?
think that girl's an idiot, honestly, personally, in that position.
Okay, that's cool. Like
No,
like,
right. I agree
why-
with you on that. Like 1 or 2, because you're in the moment, then it's kind of like, okay, but when you're doing it, that was like, bro.
If there's like another solid 30 seconds, like you know what you're doing, like stop, you know?
Yeah.
I
that's
think
like intense.
three. What's the term for the girl? Like she's
It's
bouncing.
the same as thrust.
Thrust. She can. A woman can thrust. Women can thrust. But I think.
Work it, twerk it.
I actually think. I think 3 thrusts is.
Enough.
I think 3 thrusts is like the leeway.
Boom, boom, boom.
I
Get
think
out of
3
me.
thrusts is the leeway. and then you stop it after 3 thrusts. I think that should be the lead. I think that's
I
fair.
think after 3 thrusts, it's like, do I want to keep doing it or not? That's what it's like. Or did you choose this? Am I sure I want to keep going? That's what the 3 thrusts is. And then if you keep going,
I think it
I don't
also
want to say
depends
like,
on the
I don't wanna sound
situation
like a
though
dick.
too.
It's
You
like,
know what I mean?
did you
Yeah, maybe
want it?
he's having a heart attack and he's asking her. I mean,
He's seizing up in
again,
there.
reasons, right? What is that?
Having a heart attack in the
Reason
pussy
man
is
would say a
crazy.
woman to stop. What is the? Is there a man who would say stop?
Sure.
There is.
Of course.
Really?
How?
For what reason?
There could be.
For what reason?
I don't know. He's
Heart
over it.
attack?
You want
I don't know.
to pee? He wants to pee?
His dick got soft. He's done.
Hey, we're being very insensitive to
The
men
wife
who are
thought came in the head.
You get it back hard.
It's like I shouldn't do this.
Or your girl, you smell bad or something.
Yeah. I've heard
No.
a lot of stories about girls that smell
Yeah,
bad.
you
and guys
smell
just
bad.
stop.
You're like, I'm done. Get out.
If I was a guy, honestly,
But
like,
that
I don't know
wouldn't
how
be
guys
like,
even keep
okay,
going.
sexual assault because you stink, bro. It's like, no, you're doing too much shit.
It is an interesting thought experiment, though. I mean, it's like, because there are situations where you could be having consensual sex, and then one of the woman says stop, and it's like, yeah, you should stop. But like, if again in the scenario, if it's like
He said jackrabbit, so like,
He's going-
I give it the 3 because honestly, the momentum you just.
But
like,
think about it. So he's at the very top of the thrust. He's at the top of the thrust, but he's already started his momentum
so then
down.
that's one. How,
No, but like if you say stop at the top of the thrust, but his momentum's already going down. Like, is it technically could they be like, well, you completed the thrust, that's SA, but it's like
no, because he can argue objects in motion.
die into
know
the
what I
mic,
mean?
into the mic.
I mean, unless you
but-
start getting physical, if you start hitting him like, oh, this is like too much, get off me.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just
No?
talking about this very specific scenario.
No, he said jackrabbiting, so
where
like,
the
it's
momentum
going.
is
The
quick.
thrust in motion.
There's a lot of, and it's like he's already on the down thrust. Fuck it. There's gravity. There's gravity too. We have to case he's on. It's
a slippery slope.
There should be clear reasons under which condition woman should say stop.
Do we have to take into
If
account
it's,
angle and pitch and?
Yes,
I mean, that's where I was.
That's
going
the
with
other thing.
it, like-
That's why I said missionary, because missionary there's gravity. You know,
So do
maybe-
the rules changed based on position, Brian?
I maybe you get more thrusts if it's missionary. Maybe you get less if it's some other position. I don't know.
Back shots, you didn't hear him.
I mean,
That's valid.
Anyways, Law Paladin says, good to see you in the chat, man. Then shalt thou count to 3, no more, no less. 3 shall be the number thou shalt count, and the number of the counting shall be 3, for shalt thou not count, neither count thou 2. That was poetic Shakespeare shit. Law Paladins, thank you, man. Appreciate it. That is an interesting thought experiment, though, you know? I mean... Anyways, okay, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, let's get back to the pre-show notes here. So going back to you, we're going to move off of the manifestation stuff. You said you had interesting points of view on topics discussed on your podcast that I feel often get neglected or left out. And any of those come to mind right now?
Not right now, but if I don't know. I just
okay.
feel like normally when I've seen the podcast, I feel like you guys do ask a lot of the same questions, and it tends to be a lot of the same points of view. And I guess I just haven't heard too many people with similar perspectives to mine. However, we just had such a long manifestation banter that I'm ready to move on.
Well, I'll read this really quick. Okay. Realistic heart. Manifestation lacks empirical evidence. Success toward a goal often requires effort, opportunity, cognitive bias, pattern recognition, and optimistic thinking. Realistic heart. Thank you very much for the $100 soup chat, man. Really appreciate it. Low Paladins, 5 is right. Ought out. Once the number 3, being the third number, be reached, then lobbest thou thy holy hand grenade of Antioch towards thy foe.
By the way, can you pull that previous super chat back up?
I got it.
Was it Realistic
Yeah,
Heart?
I got it.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for being a big donor to both the Whatever and the Crucible. Realistic Heart, appreciate it very much.
Yo, thank you, man. All right, so if you guys want, read 100 TTS 200 if you want to get the message in. Okay, so let's see. Using manifestation to call in aligned partners, dating in LA. I mean, it sucks. Is that the basic?
I actually had a lot of fun when I first moved to LA. But yeah, like just lots of adventures. I was definitely very much on a high with my manifestation journey. But yeah, I called in just fun experiences, motorcycle rides, like going to like fun places around the city, stuff like that.
How did you meet the people that you met in LA that you were dating?
When I first moved, definitely dating apps, but I also lived in a co-living where we had 100 people across 8 houses and all sort of like around my age. So I met a lot of people just through connections through there too.
Okay, let's see what else you said. Self-help, wellness, spirituality, astrology. Oh boy, when it comes to dating. Okay. Dating culture standards today.
Oh, no, not astrology too.
Yes, I'm definitely into astrology.
She says she agrees on most things. However, I am sure I have different and unique takes when it comes to topics around
I would love to know your chart.
And energetics.
I'm an Aquarius.
Okay, I thought you were air sign for
and
sure.
it's the year of Aquarius.
Wait, you do Reiki?
Reiki, yeah.
By the way, I just lied to you. I'm actually a Taurus.
Oh, okay. Ooh, you got me. But I bet you have air in your chart.
Actually, just so you know,
you lied
I
again.
really am an Aquarius, right?
You
just
got
saying.
me. Well, I mean, that's why I like to see someone's chart because we all have all of the signs in our charts.
Killer, thank you.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed when it comes to astrology that everything which is inside of a star chart or inside of any type of perceived prophecy, for what that will entail, is so vague that it can literally be applicable to any human being on planet Earth?
I mean, I
like
don't...
if we were to pull up, if I had Brian pull up right now, right, today, whatever my horoscope was for
Not
today.
Horoscope, but I don't believe in horoscopes personally.
Well, what is astrology then?
Astrology is where the planets are when you were born. So like all of the planets have a specific energy, and the different planets sort of correlate to different things. Like within your chart, for example, like where the moon is placed in that sign is more related to your emotional being and side of things. And everyone has like different dominant planets. So there is a lot that goes into it.
What does that tell you?
For me, it just is like a little bit of a blueprint on the energy that you may experience, or like.
But this is prophecy.
So there is predictive astrology. However, I just don't personally. I'm not into.
Well, then what's it for? Like what would it be?
For me,
useful
it helps me understand myself and others,
so that you can make predictions.
I mean,
based on
it just helps me understand myself.
But why do you want to understand? Like, why would you want to understand a thing about a person? Unless it was as a predictive model, right?
So like for instance, with dating, like knowing my partner's chart and like knowing different like energies within that, like it helps me better understand. Yeah, I guess technically predict.
It's always a predictive model. So the thing is like
it's not like I'm predicting anything specific, but it's like, oh well, if he is very talkative and social when he's out and meeting new people, I understand like, oh, he's a Libra rising and he's very chatty and social butterfly. And
so it creates
or opposite, if he's like a Scorpio rising, he may hate going out.
So it creates predictive models.
Yeah,
right. That's why that's what it's for. So it is a horoscope in a way.
In a way, it's just not like on Tuesday the 18th you are going to experience, XYZ. But
yeah, whatever the vague thing is that you may or may not experience, whatever that may be. But even this is a predictive model, right?
Yeah,
I'm guessing that any chart that you would show me, I could apply it to anybody who is sitting right here. To a T. I bet you I could do it.
You do think so?
I do think so. Yeah.
Would you not
in fact,
talk
I've
to
seen
someone?
this.
Would you not talk to
I would
someone
never
because they're like, oh, they're a Scorpio?
No, never.
So
You're done. I'm not friends with you.
I love Scorpios.